Okay, so we're gonna pick up with where we left off at the end of class, and I'm gonna look at how much the final cost was to make the lemonade for each of the different cup sizes, and then kind of analyze what would make sense to charge for our lemonade cups to figure out our profit. So back in one of our earlier examples, we looked at the cost of the 8-ounce cup versus the 18-ounce cup. These were the prices per cup. I'm going to add that. So this is per cup. And by cup, I'm talking about the physical cup, not the unit. Okay, because notice that the units here were still in ounces. So on this last slide, we just talked about the pitcher, and it was 48 ounces of lemonade. And that equaled 6 cups. Okay, so here I have 8-ounce cups. So in one pitcher, that's 48 ounces, I can get 6 cups, or I could sell 6 cups of lemonade for these 8 ounces. So I'm going to put some of this information over here just to kind of help everybody follow. So 48 ounces in a pitcher, which equals 6 cups. And our total cost for one pitcher, so total cost in a pitcher was $1.70. Okay. I'm going to move these down here. Okay, so let's see, in one pitcher, how many 8-ounce cups can we fill up? Well, 48 divided by 8 ounces, that gives us 6 cups, okay? So 48 divided by 8-ounce cup gives me 6, okay? So I can get 6 cups from one pitcher, 6 cups in one pitcher. Where here, when I have 18-ounce cups, 48 divided by 18, that leaves me with 2 2/3, or 2.67. Okay, so that tells me how many solo cups I can get out of one pitcher, and this tells me how many of those styrofoam cups I can get out of one pitcher. So the total cost in a pitcher is $1.70, but we know that we can get 6 cups out of here. So to find the cost, $1.70 divided by those 6 cups, and we'd end up with 28 cents. Okay, we're here. My pitcher still costs $1.70, but this time I have 2 2/3 cup of lemonade. And when I divide that, I end up with 0.64. Okay, and I'm using my rounding skills because I really got 0.6367, so I took that the 6.7, and I rounded the 3 up to a 4. Okay. So this is the cost of the ingredients for the lemonade, and now I have the cost of the physical cup to pour my lemonade into. So now I'm going to add those two things together. So I'm going to take that 4 cents, I'm going to add it to my 28 cents, and we end up with 32 cents. Okay, that's the cost for an 8-ounce cup of lemonade. When I do the same thing for my 18-ounce cup, those blue solo cups, we end up with 69 cents for a cup, the blue solo cup of 18 ounces of lemonade. So there's my price difference, my cost for each scenario. Okay, so hopefully you followed and know what's going on there. I got this information from some of our previous slides. There were 48 ounces in a pitcher, which equaled 6 cups of lemonade. The total cost of one pitcher that we had already figured out in class was $1.70. So then I figured out there were 6 cups in, I can use 6 8-ounce cups. To find the cost of each cup, it was 28 cents. I divided by 6. In an 18-ounce cup, I can get 2.67 cups of lemonade out of an 18-ounce cup in one pitcher. So when I divide that, the cost per 18-ounce cup was 64 cents. Then I added the physical cup, the cost, plus the cost of my lemonade, and this gives me the total cost of supplies and ingredients. Okay, that's what these two values are. That's the total cost of supplies and ingredients for those sizes. So let's look at, well, we're going to break that down a little bit further in a second. We've got another practice problem here. It says that Jamal sold 5 more than 3 times as many cups as the number that Sydney sold. How many cups were sold all together? Okay, so we're told that Jamal sold 5 more than. There's that key. Remember, whenever we have that more than or less than, that indicates right away that we have to put that behind. Okay, so we have that plus 5 at the end. Okay, so right away, just like before, we can use process of elimination and we can go ahead and eliminate choices B and D from the get-go. This is one reason I love multiple choice, because I'm able to eliminate stuff right away. Okay, now it says it's 5 more than 3 times as many cups as the number that Sydney sold. Okay, so we're talking about Jamal. So Jamal sold 5 more than, I've already accounted for that, but then 3 times as many cups. So 3 times as many cups as Sydney. So I'm going to use S for Sydney. All right. So if I write that without that multiplication symbol, it would look like J equals 3S plus 5. Okay. Now, it does ask me, though, how many cups were sold all together. So we're looking at the number that Jamal sold plus the number that Sydney sold. Well, we don't have any specific number for Sydney, so Sydney just equals S. Okay, I'm just using that variable. And to find the total, we would add those two values together. We'd add Jamal's total plus Sydney's total. And I know that Jamal can be represented by 3S plus 5 because we already found that expression. And then I can just add in Sydney's total, which is just S, because I don't have any other information about it. So now I have like terms. Notice I have the 3S and the S. This is like a 1 when there's no coefficient up front. That's really a 1. So 3S plus 1S is 4S, which means that my total in the end is going to be 4S plus 5. And that is the number of cups that were sold all together between Jamal and Sydney, which would leave me with choice A. Okay, so if it would have asked me how many cups Jamal sold, C would have been the correct answer. But because they asked me for how many cups were sold all together, that implies that I need to know how many cups Jamal and Sydney sold as well. And we add when we're trying to find a total cost. Alrighty, let's move on to slide number 20. We're almost done. Okay, so now we're going to really look at our total cost and then try to figure out how much we should charge. This was an interesting statistic, something I didn't realize. So it says, how much do they make, or how do they make so much money? So soft drinks and French fries, this is crazy. It says a pop, that is totally a Midwest thing. I'm from the Midwest, we say pop. Could be a soda. A pop at a fast food restaurant is marked up about 1,200%. Okay, that's 12 times as much as it costs. The fry markup is at about 500%, or 5 times as much as it costs. Okay, because potatoes are cheap, soda pop is cheap. So when they charge you like $2 for a soda, it didn't cost them that much to give you that soda. Okay, in fact, if you took the cost and divided by 12, they would tell you approximately how much that soda cost the restaurant. So 12, let's see, if I said I had $2 for a soda, it really only cost the restaurant like 17 cents for that soda, and they're making a pretty nice profit off of you, okay? So it says, based on the cost to make your lemonade and the average markup shown here, what would you charge for your cup of lemonade? Okay, so let's just analyze this quick. I have my small cup. This is the 8-ounce cup, and I have my large cup, and that was the 18-ounce. Okay, so we know that my cost for the 8-ounce cup was, let's go back, was 32 cents. And the cost of my large cup was 69 cents. Okay, so to kind of compare, I'm going to go ahead and find like the high end and the low end of a markup. So if you're looking at a 1,200% increase, to figure out how many times more, you would divide this by 100 because there's 100% in a whole ratio there. So when I do that, the markup for pop is 12 times the cost. Okay, so that would equal 12. And I'm going to do the same thing for the fry markup, and it is 5 times the cost. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look at my small markup, and we'll look at both scenarios. So if I do a 1,200%, or that's 12 times my cost. This is how much I would charge on the high end of things. So 12 times 0.32, that's $3.84. Okay, if I do like the small end and I look at 5 times, so the fry markup is 5 times, I end up with $1.60. Okay, so that's my range from the high to the low. And let's look at the large cup. So if I look at that markup of 12 times the amount, or 1,200% at 0.69, I end up with $8.28. I don't know, any of you spend $8.28 on a cup of lemonade? I'm thinking probably not, unless it was some like, mind-blowing, you will never have lemonade like this ever again. I don't know, I probably still wouldn't do it. So the low end of things was $3.45, which that sounds considerably better. Okay, I'm gonna put in my dollar signs. And I'm just gonna kind of break this up so we know that what we're looking at. So looking at the small cup, it looks like I could charge somewhere between $1.60 and $3.84, and you got to kind of figure, okay, what's your market like? What do you think people are really going to pay for this and still make a decent amount of money? Now remember, this is still 5 times the markup of what it costs you. So even if you did like $1.50, that's still a pretty good profit. It's almost 500%. Whereas like your large lemonade, I don't know too many people who are going to pay $8.28 for a large lemonade. They might pay $5 for a large lemonade. In fact, I've paid $5 for a large lemonade on a really hot day at like a fair or festival. No problem. There's tons of people in line because people are hot and thirsty. But if you think you might sell a few more lemonades at, let's say, $4 a cup, you would kind of analyze who you think your clientele is going to be, how many people are going to come. Is it more important for you to sell more lemonade at a reduced profit, or less people at a higher price. You got to try to find a happy medium there. Okay. So what I decided, what I thought was reasonable, and this would have maybe changed if we discussed it in class a little bit, I decided that the small cup, since I'm kind of using these values to determine, I'm saying that $2 for a small cup of lemonade is not really, too far-fetched. So I'm deciding to charge $2 per cup. And I'm thinking that for the large, I might go with about $4. Okay, so it's over the 5 times, but I really don't feel like people are going to pay upwards of $8. So I'm just going to say, I'm going to charge $4 a cup. And you might have decided to go a little bit higher, and maybe you would have ended up making more money than me. But this, if you ever own your own business someday, this is something that you'd have to decide. If you were pricing out an item on your menu, let's say you own a restaurant someday, you're going to have to figure out, okay, where's my cost, and when am I going to reach my profit, and how much above profit is going to help me run my business. So our question that we were trying to figure out was, how would you figure out if you could make $10 selling lemonade? Well, remember, profit, okay, that's how much money we make in the end, is our revenue, okay, that's what comes in, and we subtract our cost. So if I look at, and actually I want to put this in, I'm going to make this into an expression here. So if I subtract revenue from cost, and then I multiply that by the number of cups of lemonade, so times the cup, that's going to tell me in the end how much money I've made, okay? So if I look at, let's say I'm just looking at those small cups, okay? I can say that I want to make $10 in an hour making lemonade. And I know that my revenue, how much I'm charging for a cup, was $2. And I know that my cost for that cup was 32 cents. So I'm just plugging that in. And I want to know, well, how many small cups of lemonade would I have to sell in an hour to make $10? So we'd set up our equation. 10 equals 2 minus 0.32 or 32 cents, all times the number of cups that I would sell. So when I simplify, 2 minus 32 cents gives me $1.68. So that's how much money I'm making off of one cup, times X, the number of cups. I have 1.68 times X. So to undo multiplication, we divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by that 1.68. And when I do that, I end up with X equals 5.95, or about, okay, if I'd have to, you can't have 0.95 cups of lemonade sold. You're going to sell a full cup. So I would need to sell 6 cups of 8-ounce lemonades. That's not too shabby. I think that if you had a lemonade stand selling 6 cups to make $10 an hour, that's not too unrealistic, okay? You might even say to yourself, oh, I could start my own little business, okay? Now that's little cups. Let's look at the big cups really quick. So I'm going to change colors. So for the large cups, I'm going to set up a similar equation. I still want to make $10 in an hour, okay? But I said I'm going to charge $4 for one cup, and my cost was 69 cents. And I want to know how many large lemonades I would need to sell. So when I simplify this, 4 minus my cost of 69 cents is 331. So that's how much I'm making on each cup of lemonade. Again, that is being multiplied by my cup, so I have to divide to undo that multiplication. 3.31, 3.31. So I'm just showing you my work. And when I do that, I end up with 3.02. So that 0.02, I'm almost exactly at 3. If I only sold 3 cups of lemonade, I would just be shy of that $10 mark. So if I want to surpass that $10 mark, I would need to sell 4 cups of 18-ounce lemonades. Okay. So you might decide, you know what, I want to make $10 exactly. So you might increase that $4 to like $4.25 to ensure that you only need to sell 3 large lemonades an hour to make $10 an hour. And just think about it. If you sold 6 cups of the small cups and 4 cups of the large cups, that's now $20 in an hour if you're able to sell those quantities of each of the cups. So running an actual lemonade stand really isn't bad money if you think about it, especially at a place like a fair or on a really, really hot day where you know people would spend the money on it. All right, so that is the end of our cool little problem that got you to kind of analyze a specific problem while using all of the skills from Unit 1. Again, if you have any questions for me, send me an email today or this weekend, and I will get back to you either by the end of today, Friday, or next week on Monday, while you guys are working on those Unit 1 tests, Part 1 and Part 2. Hope you all have a great weekend, and we will see you Monday.